Hi everyone, Athena Ali here, the Get Noticed coach, career coach and strategist and a government job application specialist. So today I'm coming to you live to talk about whether you should stay or go when after you've been rejected for a promotion. Now, this came up recently after my masterclass last week. Somebody was asking, what should I do now? I got rejected. What should I do? So you have a couple of options here. Okay. So your first option is to stay. Okay. And in order to stay, we need to become really self-aware about why we didn't land a promotion. And we need to ask questions and feedback about what part of the process we might not have succeeded in. Was it, something we said, something we did, our experience? Do we need to elevate something in our career before we can get to that next level? It not only requires you to be self-aware, but it also requires you to be able to have those conversations with your manager. Okay. It may be that when you get your feedback, you might need to get more involved in certain projects to enhance your experience in a particular area that they felt that you were lacking. Okay. And it's all about controlling what changes you can make if you want to stay. Okay. Now, this is achievable if you have a great relationship with your manager. But perhaps just now hasn't been the right time, or you weren't quite primed for that next level yet. Now, as I said, this is where you will have conversations with your manager and put plans in place for your development in your next level role, and where you perhaps have their support. So this is where you're more likely not only to stay, but actually thrive by learning new things and actually being put forward at a later time for a promotion. Okay. And as I said, this requires you to change, but you need to be self-aware and you need to make that change and take that action to move forward. As I said, you can organise this and talk about this either formally at a professional development or performance review time, or you can have those conversations informally or create meetings with your manager to have a chat about what your future career plans really are and how they can help you to get there. Okay, and the things that you might need to do going forward. Now, your other option is, I guess, leaving. So in the scenario, for example, what if what they have in mind, you might have a great relationship with your manager, but when you start having those conversations with them, they have something else in mind for your career that fits in with the organisation, but doesn't necessarily align with what you want to do, and you can't break through to navigate the career that you want. Now, this is something that happened to me, particularly in my last position, where I really wanted to pursue a HR or learning and development type role. My passion is in this area. And I kept getting steered into infrastructure project management. Whilst I was exceptionally good at it, and I did enjoy the aspect, the one thing I did enjoy about doing that role was that I love constantly changing environments. So projects really do suit me. I love change and I love being a part of change projects or innovative projects. But the problem is that once the project was done and my role was then to maintain the system, this is where the disconnect happened for me. And I kept getting pushed into doing project management and then maintaining that system, which is not really what I wanted to do. So once I started doing things I didn't really want to do, I didn't really care so much about what I was doing. I just performed the functions every month, which I was exceptionally good at. But it meant that when you no longer have that joy, you're no longer feeling like you can innovate, you feel like you can't move forward in your career, you stagnate and you can become stale. And it's really important that when you're having those conversations with your manager, if something doesn't align with what you want to do, then maybe it is time to go. Maybe it is time to move to another department or move to another organisation. Okay. But at the same time, the reason for those conversations, which you probably realize in hindsight, and I know I did, is that, the organization might have different needs from you. So that could be why they're pushing you in the direction that they want to push you in, because that is the way the organization is going. And instead of making you redundant or redeploying you, they might try to steer you in the direction of the need that the organisation is going to have post what you're doing right now, which great if it suits you, then you can go down that path. But if it doesn't, when it starts not to align with you and what you really want, what can start to happen is that you get that angst between you, the manager, and the organisation. And then it will start to affect your productivity and your health. Okay, because you'll become unhappy about what you're doing. You'll get asked to do things you perhaps don't want to do because they don't align with you or your current role. And then you stop being productive. As I said, you'll start to just do what you need to do to get through the day rather than actually think about the outcomes you need to provide that customer at the end, which is the public service or whatever it is that you're doing. So what starts to happen is that negativity starts to affect your future in the organisation. So when you start to not become aligned after you've been rejected for a promotion, and then you can see that you don't fit in or what you're doing doesn't align with what you want to do, what happens is that it will affect your future promotion. So although you're trying to get out or move up, you won't be able to, because once you start having that negative effect happening to you, it starts to show in your work and in your personality, and it's really, really hard for you to move forward. So my advice, I guess, is that if you can change roles or move into a different department or start to work out what your plan is for that next promotion somewhere else, then in that case, you really should do it. And it is more ideal to do this before you're shifted out. So again, it comes down to being really self-aware of what's going on and whether you really like being there or not, and whether that rejection of the promotion has really affected you in that way. Now, if on the other hand, you are in a situation where it isn't all rosy with your manager, and no matter what you do, you feel like you will never land that promotion while you're in a situation where you feel you're in a toxic situation, then what wouldn't matter whatever you do, and that person's inflexible, then it probably is time to go. Now, but the best thing to do is, again, when you become aware of that toxic environment, it's better to plan your own exit than being forced out at some point, because planning your exit means you won't be put into another situation where you go for a role that you're really not aligned to or that you don't really want. And you don't want to be in another less than ideal role. You want to start looking for what you really want that will improve your mood, that will improve your outcomes to the community that you're going to serve. Okay, so in that situation, then you should definitely leave if not landing that promotion has caused such negativity in your team that you might need to leave or look for alternative pathways for yourself, something that does align with you and with people that you can work with. Okay, so I guess what do you do from there? I guess you need to acknowledge, firstly, that that you need some help with your career. If you're not landing promotions, if this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time you've applied and you're having issues, well, you have to acknowledge that there's an issue there, and you've got to try and work out what that problem is. Once you've worked out what that problem is you need to take some action around it. So once you know, okay, maybe it was this or maybe it was that, you need to start planning for that and taking some action to then look at your next level role, whether it's in the organisation or outside of it, okay? And in some cases, you may actually need to seek help to do this, okay? And this is where you will probably need to get some career coaching to assist with clarity around what do you want to do? What does align with you? You may also need coaching around confidence, because if you have been rejected 3, 4, 5 times, what you will find is your confidence will decline with every single rejection. And what happens again is that negativity sets in. So you may need some coaching around that. You may also need coaching around planning what to do next, where to go, where to look, what organisations to, look for your next promotion. Or planning whatever that next level career is. It may not be enough to have that conversation with your manager. It might be that you have to start planning and setting goals for yourself as well. Then you can look at, how to improve your documents for applying for a new role. So changing your resume, your key selection criteria, cover letter, perhaps your LinkedIn profile for visibility. May be that you need to start looking at becoming a lot more visible in your profession so that you can land your next level role. And then you look at how you actually land the role when you get to the interview as well. So you have to look at all these things and be really aware and acknowledge what the issue is in that process to be able to then fix it and move forward. So sometimes, as I said, you might need an external, objective, honest and upfront opinion about where you are at in your career and some advice around that, because as well-meaning as the people around you are, the issue is that they will come to you with a bias. So your manager will want what's best for the organisation sometimes and not necessarily what's best for you. Or your family and friends might tell you what you want to hear. So getting that external advice from a career coach or strategist like myself can really help you to uncover what you really want and be really honest and upfront with you about what you could or should be doing. Now, if you'd like some more information on how you can get unstuck and land your next role so that you're actually aligned with it and that you can land your next level promotion and, retain your benefits and entitlements, because let's be honest, that's one of the big perks that public servants really love, but making sure that your role is really aligned to you in the organisation, then get in touch with me. I'd be happy to have a chat with you. Just DM me. I can give you the details for that and we can have a confidential chat about your personal roadmap going forward. Otherwise, I'm going to leave a link down below a little bit later today on an ebook around, how you can get unstuck and land your next level role in the public service. In the meantime, I'll leave you there for today. I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast and I'll see you next week. Bye.